Hey guys, Mike McElwain with Workout Trainer and Gym Supplement Science. So today I got a little tip for you guys. One of the things about the bands very few people understand is, yeah, they are different in the fact that the bands, unlike free weight, aren't controlled by gravity. So you don't have to worry about, the bands having the momentum, right? The other variable is the fact that as I unrack here, the bands are at their tightest when they're fully stretched, which means the weight is at its heaviest. As I come down here, the weight's actually decreasing. As I come down here, I'm actually getting weaker, but as I press up, the weight increases as my muscles are actually, the range of motion is decreasing as my muscles are getting stronger. So theoretically, if you look at how the strength curve of a muscle fires, it kind of goes up, peaks, and it kind of comes down. The nice thing about it is because the weight's increasing, you're hitting the muscles at their strongest point in that range of motion with the heaviest weight. What that does is that actually calls upon what's called the fast twitch muscle fibers, which are the muscle fibers that like sprinters, athletes, people who do explosive movements have. And if you look at their body physiques, they're naturally more chiseled or ripped. They have small, dense, strong muscles. They're not lean and slender like that of a marathon runner. It's because they're predominantly fast twitch. So to build the muscle fibers that are the biggest and the strongest, using the bands helps. Now, the one thing that people don't really understand that you can add another variable into your workout, as Mike and I were discussing, is speed. You can change the weight. You can add on more weight as much as you want, right? We all do that. You can change up the reps in the sets. You can do 12 reps, 6 reps, 20 reps, whatever your rep range is. But traditionally, when you're gonna move that weight, you're doing it in a controlled manner that allows proper form and technique, right? And that's because the load is controlled by gravity. So as you're in rack, you're doing things down, pressing up if I were doing a shoulder press, right? If I were to do this with free weight, trying to move fast and lose control of the weight, it would actually throw me up out of my chair, and that's when bad stuff can happen. With the bands, you have this extra element called speed. The bands are not controlled by momentum. You can move them as fast as possible, and you're not going to lose control over the weight because they're constantly forcing down. They have no momentum. I'm not going to push up as fast as I can, and the bar's going to continue to go up. It actually wants to pull in the opposite direction. So now what I can do with the weight is actually not just play around with the load, which is how much weight I'm moving, not just play around with the time under tension, which is how many reps I'm doing, but I can now play around with the speed, meaning how fast I can actually move that weight. So in an instance like this, try and move that as fast as I possibly can. So therefore, with speed, you're recruiting more fast twitch muscle fibers. With the weight increasing, you're recruiting more fast twitch muscle fibers. Now, the other variable to consider when you're looking at a program is when you should move fast versus when you shouldn't. When you should move fast is generally in the beginning parts of a workout. It's the same thing why you wouldn't want to sprint to get a best time after you've run a marathon. Your body's already fatigued, those muscles are already fatigued, and the fast twitch muscle fibers are generally best recruited and utilized in the beginning parts of a workout. If I were supersetting, which I just got finished doing, I went from a fast movement here with the shoulder press, calling upon the anterior deltoids, right? Now I'm going to move into a side lateral raise, which emphasizes the lateral delts. My front delts are pretty much spent, but now that they're not as emphasized as the lateral delts, I can now move into just with the bands. Again, am I coming up here slow and controlled? I could, but if you want to recruit the bigger, stronger muscle fibers, move in a faster, more rapid, controlled pace. You don't want to be all over the place. You want to make sure technique is still utilized. So if I'm here, I'm coming up just like with the dumbbell, I have the bands across from me. I don't want to connect the bands down here because this way my arm is moving in an arcing fashion. That arcing fashion, I want that resistance to be applied the entire time to the range of motion. So I'm pulling out this way and up. So I want the bands placed down and away from the direction I'm moving. That's the reason why it's crossing me at a low point here. But as I'm here, I can now move in a fast, more powerful, rapid pace in the beginning parts of my workout. You guys start playing around with speed while utilizing the bands, you're gonna see a much different result when you're training. So make sure you get the bands, guys. Check them out, try them out. I'll be posting workouts and things like that that are specifically on the Workout Trainer website, where I've written these programs years ago, guys, considering all these different variables so that you guys can follow them. Until next time, it's Mike McElwain. Take care.